We're a bunch of go-getters, get-ats. We're a bunch of let's be perfect, let's show people what we can do. And in order to prove ourselves, we do it all alone. We do a lot of it. We take on a ton. We never ask for help. We put the pedal to the floor and we go. And you know what that can cause? A burnout. A horrible burnout. And we don't want that. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to notice that you're probably on the fringe of burning out and how to prevent it. And that's going to start now. Can you believe somebody snitched on us for not wearing a mask? I mean, all right, maybe we're not 6 feet, but y'all need to mind y'all business. Don't you even know? He's not even real. He can't breathe. And now I can't breathe. COVID should not be affecting me and Bob. Look at him. He looks like a broke Sub-Zero. And my glasses keep fogging. And he picked the wrong one. Look at me. I hate COVID. What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to my channel. If you are coming here for the first time, please consider subscribing down below. And maybe just for fun, just go ahead and hit the bell, which is conveniently placed on his face. Subscribe so that you know when my videos come out. If you're coming back to my channel, thank you so much, because in all honesty, there is no channel without you. The question, how do we keep ourselves from burning out? You know this scenario too well. You come across a new school, you're probably coming across a new work environment, you're coming across a new group of individuals. You just want to prove to them that you are top dog, that you are as cool as you think you are. Bob, I'm very cool, bro. Don't you get it twisted. I am the coolest man on the block. Look at his face. But what we do is we sacrifice ourselves in going to show other people what we can do, what we can handle, what can we juggle. We take on a bunch of things, and then we find ourselves overwhelmed, and then we find ourselves feeling like this is unfair, and then we find ourselves burnt out. We don't want that. This can happen in all walks of life. We're talking businessmen, we're talking even people who work in the faith and ministries. Pastors can burn out. We're talking people in families, they can burn out. Burnout is a thing that really touches all facets of life. Think about it. Do you belong to a friend group? Are you a part of a crew that hangs out all the time, but you're the one that's always fronting the bill, and you're the one that's always doing the driving, and you're the one who's always picking what they do, and you're the one who's always receiving the complaints because they did something that they didn't want to do? Do you realize that you feel completely burned out? You see, it even touches cliques, friendships, crews. Here is the stages of burnout. First, there's this honeymoon stage, okay? This is the workload. This is what you do to prove to people that you can do. And the problem is that you do too much. You gotta be like Bob. Look at him. Does nothing. I'm just kidding. That would just create laziness, and you don't want to be lazy like Bob at all. The second stage is once you take on all of that, right, and you're gonna prove to other people, then you just notice you lost control. You don't know Monday from Thursday, Tuesday from Saturday, Sunday from, everything just becomes a big hot mess. And no, we don't need 2020 to destroy our week, because sometimes y'all have already done it. Yes, indeed, 2020 did absolutely screw up our week. You know what I'm saying? And then the last thing, or the final stage, is you feel cheated. You feel like all the work that you put in amounts to nothing because the reward seems blah. If you feel like that, then you're probably at those early stages of burnout. Now, let's make a clear distinction between the difference between burnout and just simple stress. We all get stressed out, everyone. There's nobody who's immune to stress. Stress is something that happens. And we're going to talk about this in another video when I talk about anxiety. But stress is an outside trigger. And how you respond to it is how you respond to it. Some people respond pleasantly, and other people, well, you just don't want to be around them when stress hits. So the differences between stress and burnout are simple. Number one involves overengagement, stress. Burnout is complete disengagement. We're done. The second one is stress has an overactivity of emotions. A lot of emotions involved. Burnout, emotional numbness. You're done. And lastly, chronic stress can create some physical after effects that can be detrimental to your health. Burnout can really affect you emotionally. Let's talk about how to defeat this burnout. Number one, notice it. Notice the warning signs that you're feeling burnt out. One of the easiest signs is a sense of lack of control. Like, wait a minute, I think I lost control of this thing. That in and of itself could be like a little yellow flag to indicate that I am moving towards the direction of burnout. Once you see that, acknowledge it, call it out. Number two, reframe your mindset. What do I mean? It means if you took on a lot, then maybe it's time to reframe the way that you approach that a lot. Are you doing it by yourself? If you are, then maybe start to delegate some things. Starts to pass some things on. Ask for help. Move it along. Distribute it. And if no one wants to take it, then maybe assess. Make a decision and say, well, maybe this is not as important as the rest of my job. In one of my videos, I'll be talking about decision making. So keep your eye out for that. But you want to reframe it. Make sure you don't get stuck in it. And if you have to abandon it, then abandon it and go back to the drawing board. Number three, self-care. I can't preach this enough. You do and you do and you do and you do, but you never do for you. There has to be a point in time where you set yourself up to care for you. Because the burnout is ultimately not going to affect anyone else but you emotionally. You have to take some time for yourself. It's okay to maybe take a day off, take a rest day. Just make sure that you are looking out for you. Now, don't mistake this with being selfish. I'm not saying be selfish. I'm saying look out for you. Because in loving you, you're going to love other people a lot better. I'll leave that video down below. You can see it after. You know, I'm not immune to burnout. There's moments in time where I feel completely overwhelmed. But that's when I know. Once I notice it, is when I start to reframe that and I ask myself, can I reach out to other people to help me at this point? Have I taken on too much? What do I need to cut off? Do I need to set healthier boundaries for myself and the people that I work with or the people that I hang out with? Who do I hang out with? Do I hang out with a bunch of negative people that are perpetually telling me that I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, or perpetually complaining? Does that affect me? Man, like, this is all a part of life, and I'm not immune to it, just like a lot of you aren't immune to it. But you know what gives me solace at the end of the day? That in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28 to 30, come to me all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come to me, all who labor, and I will give you rest. Come to me. You know, many times when we ought to be passing things off to people, we think about our immediate team. But the first person who's always going to be on your team and always going to be the one to help you out, to lighten your load, is going to be Jesus Christ. If you give him a bit of your concern, a bit of your lack of control, you feel like you're losing control. If you give him just a little bit, your burden will become lighter. Be humble enough to realize that we cannot do all things. But when we attempt to do all things, we can do all things through Him who empowers us. If you're feeling like you're about to burn out, then first, reach for Him. Then follow those tips. Because you can't be a generation that burns out. It's not fair to your greatness. A greatness in which you were created for. Yo, this is your boy TwoTen, and this was just a moment. Oh, got it. Ooh, boy. Just stay. Why is it so hard? Oh, come on. Huh? I can't even put mine on. Stupid noise. There. My ears. Can't even fix my ears. Tuck the ears into the hat. Action. Bob, you know what's the difference between you and He-Man? Is that he has the power. You have nothing. Ew, Bob. You know that you just a Ken doll that someone placed in the microwave for too long? Ew, Bob. Knock, knock. I'm just kidding, you got no hands.